Hi everyone, this is Nora. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm going to share my September planner reflections as a way to provide some closure for the month of September. Next week I will share my October setup. However, today you will kind of know maybe the direction that I'm going in. I do want to share a couple of things though before I get started. One, and I feel like this is the pattern I continuously follow. I will probably continue to swap between these two or we use both of these simultaneously. This is the GM, the A5 ring agenda. And down over here is the MM personal size. And I really feel that things are kind of going back and forth for me depending on how the weeks go. And so when I last filmed, I was really getting pulled into my personal rings to the point where I was neglecting this agenda. And I even thought I was going to phase it out for a minute. But then I realized when I started this week and my late start courses, because I teach in higher ed, started, I realized that I ended up just going all in with the A5 ring agenda. And I started neglecting this one. So I realized, wow, I guess when things get really stressful, this is where I go. And I think it's because since I started in the middle of August, my teaching semester, once I got through the first week's hump, I realized, hey, things are going pretty well. And I kind of needed something really small. And I didn't. And once I got everything settled, I felt comfortable to just go in here. And that's when I started to neglect this one. But then once things got crazy and now my life is just going to be busier with additional courses, this is where I ended up. However, now that I'm ending the week and I am looking at how things went, I really feel like having both would have actually worked very well for me. But I got so overwhelmed, especially like as of like Wednesday. And then like I said, I just hit like this planner mental block where I was only in here. And I even decided, hey, what if I take this one to work? In the end, I did not end up doing it because I just still don't feel comfortable taking a piece of the cost, what this agenda costs to work out and about. And I don't know, there's something about it that still doesn't, it makes me a little bit unsettled. However, this agenda, I have felt comfortable to take it to work. I usually take it out during like my office hours and when I'm alone in the classroom, and I'm comfortable with that. But with this agenda here, like I said, I'm just not there yet. So, and that's when I realized, hey, okay, maybe using both is the way to go. Also, there were some things that I had set up in here that just got a little bit too overwhelming in this planner because last week I shared how I added my trackers in here. I did so many things in here in this agenda, and I really want to finish the year strong in the GM because this is the planner I started in, and I feel that finishing the year here would be the best choice for me. So this is the planner that I want to be held accountable to, and this one kind of like have my flings in here, like depending how things are going, I can go in here, and if not, it's fine. And after looking back, I realized that I don't have a lot of continuity in the personal size rings, and that's fine because I know I have this here. And as long as I have my home planner, meaning the place that I feel that is home, the place that I go to when things get stressful, that's fine with me. And in the past, I've always had a kind of like a main planner that I call like my home planner, not because it stays home, but just because it feels like home, where it's pretty much my catch-all. And then I would have something on the side that I would kind of play with and experiment with. I don't think that I'm going to add anything else to experiment with or play with. I feel that I just need to work it out between these two, and whether I'm going back and forth or I'm in both of them. I just really want to stick to these two sizes and continue with rings for the remainder of 2024. And even 2025, I haven't ordered any book bounds or anything out there. Normally, I would have ordered like a Hobonichi Weeks. I would have definitely ordered a paper test. I would have done it all. But this year, I'm just really trying to take a step back and just realizing how well rings work for me. And perhaps that is a direction I need to continue in. And instead of feeling frustrated when I purchase whatever book bound, right? And then I realize it's not working. And then I already spent all this money on whatever I purchased, right? So I really want to avoid that and just continue exploring rings in the sense that if this feels like it's my niche, like the place that I plan with, where I'm most successful in, then why not keep doing that, right? Okay, so I do have something small to share with you. I'll share that towards the end of the video. of something that I did purchase for my ring agendas. Nothing, like I said, I don't want to introduce other planners and whatnot at this moment. Maybe I will relook at this as I get closer to 2025. But for now, the orders I have made have been for inserts, physical inserts, because I've shared that I don't like this process of purchasing a PDF file and then printing and cutting and punching and everything else that comes with that, right? And that's personal choice. Of course, everyone has to do what works for them. For me, I love the paper, whether it's from Rosie Papeterie or from Infinite Lotus, and that's where I've been the most successful in. I love overall the aesthetics of rings. I love setting them up, and especially the flexibility that I have in rings. All right, so I did look through everything, meaning what was working and what hasn't been working. I have a huge stack here of inserts that I took out from here, because while I was thinking, hey, should I take this to work, I realized that this was super chunky. So I have thinned this out, and I feel this is a better suited for me, and it also allows me to really focus on what's going on now. So I did take out all of these inserts that I'm going to show you, and some of these inserts they worked well for the season, but right now I kind of feel like I want to end the year with clarity without having to repeat myself as much as I have felt I've been repeating myself in the past couple of months. And so while I have some attachment to some of the inserts I'm going to show you, I really feel that I need to just make my planner, my A5 ring agenda, very simple and just have what I need to know when the appointment is, when is the meeting, where do I have to be at, when and where, right? Okay, so I did, let me just pull these out here, and here they go. I did take out all of these monthlies from Rosie, okay? These were the month on 2 pages that I've been in for the majority of 2024. I took them out because of the bulk, and I've done this before. And next week, I'll share what monthly I ended up going in. I might show a sneak, of course, over on Instagram, but for now, just know that I love these inserts, but it was kind of the same thing where I just wasn't using the backs at all, and they took up so much space. And this is not anything with these with these inserts in particular. This is any week on 2 pages, okay, where it can take up a lot of space because these are separable as well. So I felt, let me give these a break, and if I need to go back to them, then I will. Okay, so those are these inserts. I also took out, which I addressed in my last video, these inserts. I'm not using these for content planning because I didn't like the idea that this is divided, and I would never write really, except I didn't know what to write on this other side. And at one point I decided, well, let me just write across, which was okay, but I know that there's a space right there. And so I had to let these go as much as I love them. I did pull out my goal inserts as well from Rosie because I'm using something else that doesn't require a bunch of pages. Again, I was really trying to thin out my planner as much as possible. So those are a couple of those inserts that I took out. I also took out, which really pained me, my quarterly inserts. And the reason why is because a lot of this is already written in my monthly view. And I just felt that, yes, this is great to keep track of academic things going on for myself as well as my kids, but it was just that repetition. Okay, so again, I'm just being very transparent here, and I don't know if I'm going to continue with these for 2025. I guess I'll just see. Like I said, this week was very overwhelming for me, and maybe this is where all of my let me thin out the planner comes from. But for now, I feel like this is the right choice to make. In addition to that, I also took out my perpetual calendar. Again, it was just a moment where I had to sit down with myself and realize this is great, but I can probably condense the perpetual calendar as well as the quarterly inserts just into my monthlies. And I did. When I share my October setup, you will see how elements that I had in all these inserts are now a little bit more streamlined in here. Maybe a little bit more boring, or maybe too simple, but that's what I need at this moment. So these I was using just to kind of pre-plan. I would write items here and then highlight when my husband was off. But then, of course, before every month started, I would then copy what I had here over there, but then I found myself that I also had some replicas when I was filling out my quarterly inserts, and meaning I was repeating things here and there, and then the monthly and then to the weekly. It was a lot. So I'm giving myself a break from those. Okay, and then next up, I'll show you in here how these worked out for me. These are the vertical, weekly, hourly. These are undated. I'll show you those once I finish going through these here. So I took out from January to August because these are completed. This is my entire year so far. And I'll just do a quick flip of what I found worked for me. And then I'll go in here and show you how these worked out for me. So when the year started for me, January, February, March, April, I was in the week on one page from Rosie. And these worked really well for all of those months. Once May came, I needed just like more of a breakdown of my day, and things started slowing down at work. And by this time, I was kind of going all in just in my A5. I think from January till April, I was kind of using my personal rings on the side. And so I first experimented with Infinite Lotus inserts. These right here, these are weekly, hourly. And I was in here for, I want to say May, June, July. But come August, I wanted to still try the Infinite Lotus ones, but just kind of go in a different direction. And I ended up going with these half-hour slots instead. And these were undated, and they did drive me a little bit nuts because I had to make sure that I dated them. However, I really enjoyed decorating them. And then afterwards, I felt these were a little bit too cramped for me because I had this list here and I had all this going on. And that's when I decided for the month of September to move into essentially these right here, these vertical, weekly, hourly, also undated from Rosie Papeterie. So let me go to the month of September. And this is where I ended up. Let me just move this out of the way. That is my glass house candle that I shared in my last video. I have been loving it so much, especially the carousel on top. Okay. So this is how this has looked, much more spacious. This is great, but again, undated. And even though, like I said, I flirted with the idea of getting a custom of these, meaning just dated, I did not end up doing it because I felt that maybe I wanted to go in a different direction. And I'll show you what's going on as of right now. Last week, things were already, you see these large stickers I'm using. I love using them, but as of this week, right over here, I'm going to have the same thing from Monday through Thursday because that's when I teach. I teach from 9 a.m. until approximately 1:30, depending if I want to stay a little later or if I want to go in earlier, right? So what I'm saying is I love the time blocking, but it's going to be the same thing Monday through Thursday. And I'm looking at this like, so I'm going to put a big sticker 4 days in a row. And so I thought about perhaps maybe writing my work items here or using the sticker. But then I said, you know what? I've done a lot of this weekly, hourly type of planning for a while, as I showed you over here. And so I figured, let me just take a break from this. So October, I will share what new inserts I'm using. I've had them for a while. I didn't have to purchase them, and they're none of the ones that I showed you here. It's just a different type of setup, of a layout. And I'm hoping those are going to work out better for me, and I'll share those by next week. Also, as a side note, maybe when I was flipping, you kind of realized that I added some dashboards. So yes, I did. That was another part of this idea as I took out all of this that I just shared here from this agenda. I realized, okay, guess what? I can put dashboards in there. So next week, I'll show you the dashboards that I now have included in here. And maybe you can kind of see in the background, I did kind of change the deco, and I'll show you all of that next week. So that is it for my reflection, meaning I'm going to make this planner even more simple. And I took all of this out, and this is a bold move for me because I usually have everything in this planner. And now that I've taken out so many things from it, and I'm trying to decrease what I'm rewriting, I'm going to experiment and see if this helps me in general and just not feel so overwhelmed, because many times I would start here with the perpetual calendar, and then I'd say, okay, now I'm going over here to the quarterly. Okay, you got to divide this here and there. And it was just a lot of, it took up some of my time. Okay, going from here and then picking out what I was going to put in the quarterly, and then afterwards deciding, I'm sorry, and then afterwards copying everything over to the monthlies, and then of course over to the weeklies. So we'll see how things go for the month of October now that I have taken all of this out. And now let's look at my personal rings. So last time, oh, and by the way, all of these, I will store them in here. So very excited to, let me just put this to the side so the light isn't showing as much. Put them all in here. Okay. Now let's look at my personal rings. Last time this was becoming my main planner, and I will share what I'm doing in here, but for now I'm just going to discuss. Okay, so again, I took out a lot of the inserts that were in here and I placed them in here because this is where I place my extra inserts that I'm not using. I do have a Franklin Covey big old binder where I can put things there, but I'm going to save that and do that at the end of the year. Okay, for now though, I'm comfortable just putting everything in here. So I just do a flip of things, and this way I can kind of reflect on what I took out and why I took it out. All right, so I did go, let me just do this real quick here. Okay, one more time hopefully. All right, I did go ahead and take out all these side tabs. I love them, but now that I have made my personal rings super simple, which I'll share next week, I decided to take these out. These are great if you have a full setup, but I don't want to have a full setup in here because that's drew me away from this one, and I don't want to. I want my focus to still be on this planner and keep this one very much casual, kind of, if I need you this week, great, and if I don't, then that's fine. Okay, so this was great when I was kind of going all in with this planner, but now I don't need all of these sections. And these are just some extra dashboards that I took out that I don't want all of this at the moment. These were some from Infinite Lotus. I actually didn't have these in there. These are just some extra ones that I have here. And these are the inbox. I took it out. I shared how I was going to use an inbox for work, but I did decide to not go with that. I did have a perpetual calendar because I was going back and forth between personal rings and A5 from January to April. So I kind of had the similar setup. But like I said, I don't want to dabble in this at all. Like, not that there's anything wrong with these inserts, of course. I love them. But it was just too much. So these I took out around April. So I haven't been using these for a while. And that's why like July and actually no. In June, I guess I must have stopped using them. Whatever the case may be, now they're pretty empty. The same thing with these quarterly inserts here that I at one point had. And yep, in June is when I also stopped using them. And these were great, don't get me wrong. But again, I don't need a full setup in my personal rings because I want to reserve that for my A5 agenda. I also had these month on 2 pages as well, but I have stopped using them. And January, when I was in here, I used these inserts, which I really, really loved. And I might have shared these before. And I carried that over for the month of February and March as well. But then I stopped actually here. Yeah, for April, I had a couple of them, but I threw them out just because I didn't finish the month of April. And then I put all these tabs here because I don't have a full setup. However, though, for August, I did use these inserts here. I'm sorry. Yeah, for a little bit. Right. And then I left these. And come September is when I started to try to daily plan. So I have my daily planning right here. And this was great. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes I felt like I was writing things that I didn't need to write all the time. So I just kind of felt like, let me just stick to these more important tasks. And these everyday tasks maybe don't need to be written down. So I did stop using these around, and you can see some of the times the days were so short. The lists were so short. From September 19th is when I stopped using this. I was just like, this is great, but if I would maybe combine work and personal planning, this would have worked well. But because I only had personal going on here, it seemed a bit, it seemed a bit unneeded at times. For September, I did also try to use these inserts as well. These were the weekly hourly from Infinite Lotus, and I had some fun in here. But this is when I started to realize that I can't do this, because as you can see, some of these inserts that I'm showing you show a full, a planner, right, setup. And so that's not what I wanted. I wanted to make sure that I kept, like I said, the personal size rings very, very casual and keep this one as my main planner. So that is what really helped me decide to take these things out, meaning these inserts out. And here are all the trackers that at one point I had in here as well that I took out, because then that means that my on-the-go planner, is turning into my main planner. So, and it really pained me because I have shared many times how much I love trackers in this size, right? More than the A5 size. But if I have that continuity, and if I want to assign this A5 agenda as my main planner, doing all this here, meaning the personal rings, it just isn't going to work for me. So yeah, so I took all of these out. And even these are the ones I ended up at one point using for my, and I love these, for my content planning for YouTube videos. And yeah, I had to take them out. So pretty much all the inserts and even my goal inserts that I felt I did not need to make this something super simple, because I do want to have this as an on-the-go planner. I need to take everything out in order to really make it that, and to avoid the overlap between the two, or this competition between my A5 rings and these rings. So yeah, so I pulled all of that out, as well as my goal inserts, and we'll see how it goes, right? I'm happy that I have this extra, this is the File Effects Finsbury, which I love. It's really a very slim profile. It's just a beauty. But right now, I'm the type that if I'm in gold rings, I have to have gold rings for both of my agendas, and not have one with gold and one with silver rings. So for now, I am in these two. However, there may be something I'm going to purchase for 2025 that I've been researching to see if it's worth it or not. And that agenda, that cover does have silver rings, but nothing is for sure yet. I will tell you though, if you're looking for a planner that is very accessible with price, I would highly, highly recommend the File Effects Finsbury. It's just an absolutely beautiful planner to me. All right, so the last thing I'm going to share is the small order that I received. So I purchased this here from, let me make sure I say Orderli. So Orderli, okay, well, first of all, let me just back up a little bit. I showed this candle last week from Glass House, and I mentioned how Shannon Reynolds did an unboxing of this candle, and I fell in love with it as soon as I saw it. And afterwards, I went, she's in Australia, by the way, but I realized, I should say, that she had a Etsy shop. And so I believe it's an Etsy. Yes, it is. And so I went, it's been a while now, but anyways, the point is that I went to her Etsy shop because I know she has organizers for handbags and whatnot, and particularly for the Longchamps. And I do own a La Pliage Longchamp on the medium size. And I already had an organizer, but I looked around her shop, and she had some really great dashboards there. And, I said, oh, I don't want to do a digital. But then I found that she had some that were physical dashboards. I'm going to show you right here. And I said, ooh, okay, that looks great. Like, oh my goodness, I got to get those. And they were like maybe 2 in stock. You get all of these, and I'm going to show you. I have them upside down, but you get 5 of them. And so I said, let me jump on this immediately and get these, because I think these are going to be so cute, and also give me some ideas of how I can organize, if I want to, my personal rings. Okay, so I received these 2 little freebies, these cards. This one's really cute. She's a planner girl with a flower, and I'm gonna use these. I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna use these in my A5 ring agenda, because maybe you might have maybe you caught a glimpse of what I have going on in the pockets, but I'm gonna switch those pockets and definitely incorporate this card. This is so cute. And then this one, Anxious and Organized Club. This is so cute. Like, when I saw it, I was like, yes. So I'm so happy that I was able to get these 2 freebies. And unfortunately, I don't believe these are available. Perhaps she will bring them back for 2025. I'm not sure, but I am going to flip them over. I'm going to go one by one. Okay, so this is the first one. And I'm going to get a little closer here. Here's her brand, Orderli. And this one says, to do, make a list. And these are pictures that she took of her own planners that she owns. And I just really like this. So this is the first one with a vintage LV in the pocket size. And I know that's her cloth and paper one in A5 size. All right, and the quality is really nice. The picture, like, just everything's really pretty. And then the next one is Schedule One Day at a Time. She has many handbags and just in general a lot of vintage pieces. And so this is also a picture that she took, and I really like this for the schedule dashboard, kind of like to create your sections. And then she has this goals insert with one of her handbags, a Gucci handbag. Another vintage piece. Goals, you got this. This was really nice. I love like the lighting and everything. And then another handbag. This one's the Inbox. Organize and prioritize. And then there's this wish list one. And this is maybe something I could see myself adding into my personal rings that would not overlap with my A5 agenda. So wish list, quality over quantity. Love this one as well. And I do use many Chanel beauty products, and so that felt great. And this is a pouch from the monogram that she owns. And I believe this is the last one. Yep, this is the last one. This is for Christmas, happiest season of all. So I can see myself, like I said, if I'm going to just use this when I need it, I could see myself possibly creating a Christmas section or some kind of gifting section in here. So that kind of gave me that idea. And I really like this. This will be great for the upcoming holiday season. All right, so this is my very, very small order. I'm hoping to receive some other orders that I know are on their way by the time I film the next video. A lot of those would be inserts that I purchased. And I'm just thinking if there's something else coming. I really don't remember, but if I have something and it's in my hands by the time I'm filming the next video, which will be the October setup, then I will definitely share those with you. And here are the cards. I'm just going to put these here. Thank you so much for watching and your support and listening to my reflections. And my question is, have you found yourself that you're repeating the same things in 2 planners, maybe even 3 planners? I would love to know if you have accepted this, embraced it, but some people do like repeating it, right? Just for that repetition, and then you can remember things better. Or does that frustrate you and you have found ways to go around it? I'd love to know that, because a lot of the back and forth that I had going on with the 2 agendas below here stemmed from that, but anyways, thank you so much. Have a great day. And I can't wait to share my October setup next week. Bye-bye.